Hey everybody, it's Chuck Barone on Thursday, June the 13th, 2024. Another day of mayhem. You guys see some of this stuff today? Wow, it's so much fun watching these markets like this every day. Ordinarily I was a market guy, but I wasn't as detailed looking for stuff to talk about with you guys as I am today. And I'm always looking for something a little more amusing for you guys than just the straight numbers. You got to get those, but trying to find something in there that's a little bit more than just straight economics. And it never lets me down. There's crazy every day. It's nuts. Anyway, before I get rolling along, let me take a second. Welcome everybody to the show. Welcome all my friends on the live chat, all the usual suspects on there. Nice to see everybody. We got Wolf and Attila, Salty, Donna, Mike, Zoots on. Oh, I haven't seen the Sarge yet. There's Big Smoke on. So everybody getting rolling. It's going to be an interesting show today. We're going to talk about that PPI number. Wow, that was a surprise. And we'll go on. Let's get into it. Stock markets today, kind of a weird day to me. Another day where the Fed gets great inflation news, just great news. The NASDAQ and the S&P respond, go to new highs, breaking records. The Dow, down. Now, I know the Dow is a little bit weirder because it's such a small index, and the way they weight it, one company can really weigh it down like that. It just seems odd that the bigger, broader markets are giddy, and the narrower one just looks a little dour, not breaking records, that's for sure. So the Dow did fall 65 points today, sitting at 38,647. So it's not like some kind of big decline, just odd that it declined at all. The NASDAQ was up 59 points, a new record, 17,667. The S&P up 12 points, another new record, 5,433 on the S&P. So stock market doing well. Everybody's portfolio should be doing pretty good. Okay. So yay for stocks. Nice to own them today. Good day for stocks sitting near their highs. I just tell you guys, when you see market going up like this, sometimes it's hard to take some profit off the table because you're afraid you're going to miss out on it going up even higher, right? Just like it's scary to buy more stock if you buy a stock you pick or a fund goes down. Kind of hard sometimes to dig the money up to buy more of that and average down, right? But just be a little bit careful with these markets. They're looking a little frothy to me now. When you seeing records being broken like that, it's usually that's a sign of a top. So just be a little bit careful, guys, okay? Bond market also rallies again today. So people are buying bonds too. The 10-year falls 5 basis points, 4.24%. 2-year also falls 5 basis points, 4.70%. So I think the PPI news, obviously, not only good news today, but foreshadows good news tomorrow because the wholesale prices go down. Typically, consumer prices come down with them, okay, or stop to rise with them. Now, we're dealing with a little bit of a different world now, though, because competition is so narrow in almost every industry that they really haven't, the competition isn't like it used to be where somebody's going to get out in front, cut prices, and everybody else has to follow. What you're seeing more of is they're all raising prices and no one's cutting. But now they're starting to get to that. Walmart, Target, some of the bigger consumer stores, seeing that consumers are just closing their wallets. Now starting to cut prices, trying to entice shoppers back in. So maybe we're going to get a little bit of relief from inflation. Now, I know all these numbers we get, tough to digest them every day. But it would still, as much as I want to be mad at the government, right? And know they're mismanaging us and lying to us and all the other wonderful things they do, it still would be kind of cool for inflation to come down, right? So stocks and bonds rallying today, but here's the oddity, right? So it looks like inflation's down. It looks like the Fed's going to have some room to cut rates here. Dollar rallies up 51 basis points on the index, back up 105.21. Okay, that's kind of an odd one, right? With the stronger dollar, precious metals get beat up again today. Gold falls $20.60, $2,327.10 for an ounce of gold. Silver falls 81 cents $28.92 for an ounce of silver. I'm going to have to get some charting out and see where these numbers are at. I'm disappointed that silver hasn't had a chance to get back above 30 and stay there. I'm going to have to see where the next level of support is for silver, because it's probably going to, now that it's hit that 30, broke out above it a little bit short for a short time. Now that it's back under there, if it doesn't break through quickly and get back above, you're going to probably see it go down enough to test the next level of support. So we'll keep an eye on that. Oil falls today 55 cents, $77.95 for a barrel of West Texas Intermediate. It's going to come down a little further, guys. Be patient. Bitcoin also takes another hit today, down $1,439, 66,647. So Bitcoin, just like silver, Bitcoin, their number is 70,000. They can't break through. That's going to become resistance now. And again, looks like Bitcoin going to have to go down, touch the latest support number, and see if it can get a bounce from there. We'll keep an eye on that one too. Some interesting things happening in the market today. All right, so let's talk about this PPI number and the data we got today. Just briefly, you saw jobless claims today. We get that on Thursday too. Jobless claims rose 13,000, 242,000 this past week. That's a 10-month high. So it looks like the Fed's having it their own. It looks like they're going to get everything they want. You got inflation numbers cooling. You got job openings cooling. You got hiring still pretty solid, but now you're seeing these unemployment numbers start to jump, right? Remember, we were at 212 forever. Now up to 242. We'll see if it keeps going, but the Fed having its way cooling off spending because prices are too freaking high, cooling off jobs because people are not spending again. So now you got the I used to talk about it on the show before. You got to be careful of these spirals with inflation, right? They start to, once they get to be, everybody starts to see it and believe it, it gets really difficult to get out of. Now I was worried about the wage price spiral on the way up, right? Where wages are rising, so they raise the prices to coincide. It just and makes inflation way worse. Now we're looking at the other side of that. Great. So jobless claims up. PPI today. You see these numbers, guys? Wholesale inflation last month actually fell. Prices actually fell on the wholesale number. And now the funny thing was, it was a giant jump in April. So now you're going to go from a huge jump in April to a decline in May. That's kind of crazy. That's not something that happens very often, right? Top line, PPI number declined 0.2% last month after rising 0.5 in April. So you looked like inflation was going to heat up, and now boom, here comes a number right back down, right? Now, top line last a year-over-year number, top line 2.2%. That's down from 2.3 last month. Core number unchanged. Core number was unchanged, 2.3% year-over-year. So you're seeing the core start to calm down a little bit too. These numbers look more like PCE numbers than they do PPI numbers, right? Interesting stuff. Great news for the Federal Reserve. Gives them a lot because, well, I'm not sure this is going to move markets much. It didn't really move markets much today, right? But as I've been explaining to you, this producer price number foreshadows what's coming in the future with consumer prices, because ordinarily wholesale prices go down or stop declining, so do retail prices, right? Well, it looks like if that's the case, CPI probably going to come down a little bit, right? 2024 has been a brutal year so far. Here we are in June. The numbers have not really moved, especially, CPI, the consumer side. It's just been kind of stuck there around 3.5, right? So it's been a difficult year, the Fed not having their way. Now it looks like they may be getting a little bit of a break in this. Inflation has been super stubborn, but now it looks like maybe there's a little bit of a break in the ice, and that because let's face it, guys. It's however we feel is one thing. The world out there, the population out there, they really need rates to come down. Everybody does. The government, state governments, businesses, consumers, everybody wants rates to come down. So hopefully we can get to conditions in this economy where rates can come down. I don't think we're going to ever get back down to where it was for the COVID deal, but 5.25 or 5.35 where it's sitting right now overnight is a little bit high, even though it's kind of more the norm than really high. But compared to what we've grown used to, it's very, very high. And like I said, I don't think we'll get down to threes in mortgages, but if we could even get down into the high fives from 7, that would be a big relief and might break the log jam a little bit, get consumers feeling like the ship is getting righted, so to speak, right? So anyway, PPI, a big, big news today. It's very rare where you see prices actually decline even month over month. So that's kind of I got to get a little bit dig a little bit deeper into it. I was looking at some of the numbers. I guess food prices really came down. Again, I think part of this is supermarkets, who usually are in such very thin margins, saw an opportunity to fatten those margins and did. Now realize, they're looking at their sales and they're seeing that consumers are going more for the bargain stuff than they are the brand retail stuff. I'm sure these retailers are having a conniption because they're not moving product and food stuff. A lot of it perishable, so you move it or you lose it, right? Fascinating times we are in here, right? All right, moving on. Elon Musk. Looks like Elon is going to get his billions. Tesla voters, they had their big meeting. Today is the day. Elon came out and said that they have two measures going, his big pay package and re-headquartering or reincorporating, I guess. They're leaving the state of Delaware and they're going to reincorporate in Texas. That'll be good to watch. I think that'd be good because Delaware has been the corporate capital of this country for a long time. Let's see what Texas has got. Let's see how Tesla likes it there. I'm sure they'll get a lot of concessions from the government, from Texas state government to do this. But let's see really how they do in Texas. If Texas really could be Delaware, we'll see. But the thing is, Musk going to get his pay package. They said it's down. They were talking 56 billion. Sadly, it's down to about 48 billion. Now Tesla had a big jump today. Maybe he gets a little more for that. But poor Elon going to have to try to find a way to get by on $48 billion. Wow. U.S. oil stock supply. See, when I say oil stocks, I don't mean stock market. I mean stockpiles. Let me just rephrase, okay? Even though you can't I guess you can stockpile oil. But anyway, U.S. oil stockpiles, stocks, whatever, increased last month by 3.7 million barrels. Now, this excludes the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That's something altogether different, right? So we now have on reserve, excluding the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, 459.7 million freaking barrels. Again, that does not include the Strategic Reserve. Experts had expected had they expected $1.2 million or 1.2 million barrel decline. Instead, they got a big jump. That was a surprise for the oil market today. That's probably why prices were down just a scooch. Interesting stuff. I've been telling you that I really believe oil prices are going to come down. U.S. producing right now 13.2 million freaking barrels of oil a day. Boom. Okay. Federal Reserve. Deep doo-doo, guys. All that crap paper they've been holding, they took all that bad mortgage paper off the bank's hands. They took bad treasuries that are underwater. They took all this underwater paper. So they were actually contributing to the treasury because they don't get to make profit. Right. But they I have it written down here. They actually were contributing money to the treasury every freaking year. Okay. Now it looks like they're losing $100 billion per year turning paper losses into real losses. I guess they have like 900 billion freaking dollars in unrealized losses. Those losses now starting to turn into big losses because they got 2% paper they're holding. They're paying out 5%. Well, you know how that goes. So yeah, 2022, they actually contributed $68 billion to the Treasury. Last year showed a loss of 114 billion freaking dollars. The World Gold Council says gold is getting more difficult to find. The deposits they're finding are much, much smaller. Growth in production in 2023 was less than 1%. It looks like they're probably going to be less than 1% growth in production again this year. That bodes well for all of us who are holding gold. It's going to be, there's a demand is high right now. Now, I guess I was reading a little bit of a blurb. They were saying the reason the Chinese central bank has stopped purchasing gold by the ton for their treasury because prices are so high. I think they expect a little bit of a correction if they get out of this market. We're starting to see a little bit of softening in gold and silver, right? So gold's going up, guys. That's just all there is to it. When you have imbalance in supply and demand, the markets do not wait long to price everything accordingly. We're seeing that in real estate where there's just no supply, and even though the rates are outrageous, a lot of cash buyers in real estate, higher demand than there is supply, keeping prices super high, right? Gold going to be the same thing. You're going to have demand, you're going to have less supply, boom, prices are going to go up. All right, let's see what else I got here today. Social Security. Did you hear this one, guys? This was the best. I guess somebody got on and started up this rumor that because of inflation, the federal government was going to raise all of these senior citizens' Social Security checks by $600 a month. Kind of like everybody's used to these little government giveaways now, right? They gave away the $1,400 checks and all this other crap they give away. So now even the seniors were like, yay, it's our turn. We're going to get an extra $600 a month. That's huge for a lot of these seniors. The Social Security Administration got 140,000 additional calls from what their normal level is. 140,000 more calls that day asking about this $600 increase into Social Security. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. There is no $600 raise for Social Security. They don't raise in June. They don't change Social Security in June. But somebody on social media probably laughing their ass off right now. You know what I mean? Also, another hoax going around online is, I see Miggy here with the Saudi flag. Supposedly the petrodollar agreement of 1974 expired, blah, blah, blah. Saudi's not going to renew it. It's bullshit. Never existed. So don't freak out and don't worry about that. And lastly, this one kind of bummed me out today. NATO, when they say NATO, that means the U.S., right? Has agreed to lend the Ukraine $50 billion for their war. Where are they getting the $50 billion, you ask? From seized, frozen Russian assets. So now they're going to use Russian assets that they've frozen in their banks to give to the enemy of Russia so they can buy weapons to fight Russia. Guys, this is not a good move. This is how the U.S. loses massive financial credibility. You can't be the world's reserve currency and use that reserve currency politically. You won't stay the reserve currency for long doing that. This is why we were the ones who were picked back then, because of stability. Now we're showing instability, and we're going to pay for it, man. There's no free lunches, guys. Anyway, that's it for the day, guys. I really appreciate all of your support. If you could, guys, before you sign off today, please hit the thumbs up, like button. It helps the algorithm. It gets our show out there to a few more viewers, gets a few more eyeballs on our show. Guys, I really appreciate it. It's good to see everybody on the chat too. I'm sorry, I just still have not mastered doing the show and reading the chats at the same time. I'm trying to get into it. Anyway, guys, I love you. I appreciate all of you being here and watching this show and all the things you do for us every day. I will be on the chat or in the comments a little bit today. So if you're on there, you got anything you want to say, you want to, ask a question or whatever, I'll be on there. In the meantime, until tomorrow, guys, we'll wrap up another crazy freaking week. Take care, everybody.